Hey guys, zpolt here, and I'm back for another video, and really excited for this video because we're finally reviewing the TinAudio T3. So this is the latest T series from TinAudio. So I did review the TinAudio T2 I think 6 months ago. It's from my old reviews and I did like it. I really found the imaging to be really good, and it's also relaxed sounding. It's very nice for a casual listen also. So I did like it, but how does the TinAudio T3 now fare? And also, how does it compare with the channel favorites here in this channel? We're gonna find out in this video. But of course, we review budgetfi to midfi audio gears. If you did that, consider subscribing. And also use my links below. This came from Lensoul Audio. Big thanks, Lensoul, for sending this over. Links down below for their shop. Okay, so let's check out the box first. So you have a pretty big box right here. Not your typical chi-fi manufacturer from KZ and TRN. It says T3 and then hi-fi here as well. Alright, so it's a box within the box. And a pretty nice box here overall. It's like a soft box here. This is definitely a premium grade unboxing experience right here. So look at that, guys. Look at that. It's like a watch that I'm unboxing, and pretty soft. Not a lot of information here. And wow, yeah, I think this is one of the best unboxing experience for that $50 price range, if not the best already. I'm already claiming it. Let's open this up. And you have foam right here. Here we go. And you have the IEMS right away with a gunmetal kind of look. I did like that kind of gunmetal look in my TinAudio T2s. Let's look at the cable first. So you get this gold and silver kind of cable, which indeed feels good here. This also looks like it's an 8-core cable. I did remember that this is not the cable that it comes with a T2. So I think this is an upgraded version here. Put this aside, and here you have additional tips. You have two sets of tips. You have the sporty tips with this red accent, and you also have this softer tips as well. This wider bore here, medium bore, and this a smaller bore here in the black. And also you have some foam tips available here as well. So pretty sizable number of tips here. This does remind me of more higher end stuff, because usually higher end stuff have more tips available for you to use. Let's go to the lobes now, and let's put in the cables. So you have MMCX connector here, which is nice. I always like MMCX connectors because I do have more expensive, more high-end cables that I can use. And here in the lobes part, you do have a very nice build here. Again, a gunmetal kind of look. I would say right off the bat, one of the best builds in the $50 range that I have ever held. It's made of all metal, and that kind of finish is really upscale here. Definitely right off the bat, this doesn't look like a $50 IEM. So it also feels a bit heavy here. It feels sizable. Okay, so let's have a first wear to see how it looks like. It does protrude a bit from the ear, as you can see, but it does look good. I like the gunmetal kind of look here. This definitely looks premium. In terms of fit, this does fit well in the ear, even if it doesn't have the custom IEM kind of design. Of course, I still find the custom IEM kind of design to be better fitting with my ear, but this is not bad. Because of the tips also, it does hold well in the ear. It is pretty stable in the ear. And it seals well also. This blocks out most of the noise. I would say above average in terms of sealing. And also the preformed ear hooks is pretty comfortable here. This doesn't accumulate that much heat at the back of my ear. So pretty impressive here overall. The fork distance is not so bad also. It is just the right distance here, and you can adjust it if you want. So looks and build overall, I have no issues here whatsoever. Definitely really impressive from TinAudio T3. I think they thought this through. So I already listened to the TinAudio T3s, and right off the bat, I would say that I really love this IEMs. So I did find that I like this better compared to the TinAudio T2 Pros that I reviewed like 6 months ago. I did enjoy this more compared to those. This definitely made an impact on me compared to the TinAudio T2 Pros. So overall, I would describe that it sounds just about right in terms of the whole range here. In terms of accuracy, I would say that this is superior in the sub $50 range if you're looking for accuracy in your presentation. So this reminds me of the Shures that I have, so that kind of tonality. So signature wise is fairly neutral, but a bit recessed in the mids department. So this has a slight U-shaped sound here. So it's natural in tonality. This is one of the key strengths of the TinAudio T3s. That's a pretty fast decay as well. But it doesn't sound dry here. It sounds just right. And again, natural in presentation across the range. So it's lively sounding. It has above average punch here, especially in the bass department. But it still has a kind of relaxed nature to it because of that highs, that BA highs here at the top. So like in Hard Times in Paramore, the start sequence, there's bongos there. It sounds just about right with the right punch, and the bongo energy there is just sounds just about right. It sounds live when you're listening to it. Highs, there's slight sibilance here in the highs department. Not the most extended highs that I've heard here, but well controlled overall, pleasing I would say in the highs department. The cymbals just sounds right here. It doesn't sound tinny. It has a good body in the cymbals here, and pretty nice energy there as well overall. I would say in terms of highs, this is one of the key strengths of the T3, and this also has Knowles BA drivers. Definitely that helped a lot in making the highs here better. I like the highs here better compared to the T2s. Mids here have good detail, not the thickest mids that I've heard. So if you're looking for lush, rich mids, this is not the mids for you. This is more of like clean and also lean kind of mids. Definitely that kind of signature makes this more transparent sounding here. The vocals also is a bit in the background, especially the male vocals here. So for example, in It's My Life, Bon Jovi, the vocals of Bon Jovi is a bit in the background, a bit recessed right there. So male vocals are not as rich as I'd like, but I would say still enough detail to throw around here. The bass is tight and not overpowering. Definitely not for bass heads though. The bass is not that elevated that it will satisfy the bass heads. The sub bass also is not super deep here. It has a good sub bass here. I would say present in terms of sub bass. Also enough bass to throw around here. Definitely it sounds right overall. In terms of soundstage, it is not that expansive, not the biggest soundstage that I've heard. I would say above average still, but not the biggest. So it has more depth than height here, but I would say enough stage here to make it still accurate in terms of presentation. Imaging here again is the best in the price range, so I gave that award to the TinAudio T2 Pros, and again the imaging here is again the best here. So definitely in terms of positioning here, just superior here in the T3s. Again, if you're into that, if you're into imaging, this is something that you might want to pick up. Instrument separation here is very, very good. Again, the best that I've heard in the price range. So like for I Shot the Sheriff, the piano in the starting sequence is sometimes a bit too in the background and very hard to pinpoint in some IEM, especially KZ ones. But here, it's very easy to zone that in. It's very easy to isolate it. So definitely if you're gonna mix and you're also gonna record your own songs, this is definitely the one that I'm gonna use if you want to single out instruments here. Definitely I would say the best instrument separation that I've heard in the price range. So I would say technically this is really a capable IEM. A lot to praise here in the T3. So I also did some tip rolling here because they have 3 tips that's available. The red silicone tips, the mid-bore one, the soundstage increased. That's better separation, less ceiling though, but less punchy sound, less engaging sound overall. A touch less dynamic sound, more relaxed actually, and a touch less warm as well. So I didn't really like the red silicone tips that they included. The black small bore tips have more closed-in sound, better highs and tighter bass, but I didn't like it because of that more closed-in sound. So overall, I actually like the foam tips more. That's my favorite to use with the T3 here. So compared to the Shure 215, so when I first listened to the T3, it reminded me of Shure's. So I tried to compare it with the 215s. But definitely the 215s is showing its age here now. The tonality is similar, natural in presentation. but the Shure is definitely more warm in comparison, less highs extension, and touch more bass and the Shure 215. So definitely the Shure is more warm in comparison to the T3. I like the T3 more. Compared to the IEMS V2, the V2 again is something that reminded me of the TinAudio T2 Pro when I reviewed it. So the IEMS has a more elevated bass response, less punch overall, less lively sounding, more relaxed in the IEMS V2. The highs are less energetic in the IEMS. It is more laid back in the IEMS, but the IEMS has more thick mids, more rich mids here in the IEMS. It has similar stage, but imaging and separation is better in the T3. Overall, they're both good sounding for me, but I'd give the edge to the T3 because of the better liveliness, more engaging sound, more punch overall, and more controlled bass in the T3. And again, better imaging, better separation in the T3. More natural sounding as well in the T3. So I'd give the edge to the T3 versus the IEMS V2. Compared to the ZS10 Pro, so the ZS10 Pro is currently my daily driver for casual listening. The ZS10 definitely has more elevated bass. The T3 has more punch. ZS10 has more extended highs, but the T3 has more natural presentation in the highs department. So cymbals sound more full and just more right in the T3. The mids are thicker in the ZS10 Pros, more rich, more lush mids here in the ZS10 Pros. The bass is more forward in the ZS10, also more sub bass in the ZS10. The T3 has more controlled bass. ZS10 has more boomy bass than the T3. Definitely in the bass department will be up to you what you prefer, more controlled or more boomy, more forward bass. The stage is bigger in the ZS10 Pros. Imaging is better in the T3s. Separation definitely is better and more superior in the T3s. So for me, this is a toss-up. Some good points with the ZS10 Pros, some good points with the T3s. Say for casual listening, I'd go for the ZS10 Pros because of that more rich mids. But for critical listening, I'd go for the T3. But the advantage of the T3 is that you can also use it for casual listening. So the T3 is more versatile. I would say I equally like them both. Okay, so verdict. So TinAudio T3s, there's a lot to like here. Overall, the whole package is better. You have a better cable. You have the 8-core cable here that really looks upscale. You have the build here, the metal build, and again, it looks upscale. Definitely in terms of build, it is a notch up compared to what you have in the $50 price range. Definitely, the build quality punches above its price range. It has the ear hooks compared to before that it doesn't have the ear hooks. As well, it has a nice collection of tips. And again, that sound really technically capable IEM here. Definitely in the $50 price range if I'm gonna pick an IEM that I'm gonna use for recording or mixing. This is the one that I'm gonna get over KZ and TRN counterparts. It's definitely just a superior, technically superior IEM to those. So definitely this is one of my top recommendations in the $50 price range. Easily one of my top recommendations. I would definitely recommend it in that price range. I would say that is well worth the price that they're asking for. So that is my review of the TinAudio T3s. I'm really excited about this IEMs. This will be one of my daily drivers from now on. Definitely my full comparison with the other $50 price range IEMs is coming. So I just waited for this to have a more kind of grasp of the whole market here, and definitely that is coming. And definitely subscribe for that here in the channel. That will come in the next coming week. So be excited for that. I'm also excited for that, for the super full comparison in sub $50 price range. And again, big thanks to Lensoul Audio for sending this over, for sending this IEM that really blew my mind. And of course, if you learned something, leave a like and of course subscribe for more content like this in the future. And have you heard of the TinAudio T3s? What do you think of them? Do you like them? Let me know also down below. Contribute here in the community. And I'm gonna see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.